Hello and welcome back to my channel Simply Green. Today it's all about cabbage. This is my first year. I've actually grown cabbage and made my first experiences, and I would really like to share them with you. Cabbage, coming from the family name of Brassica oleracea. Just googled that myself how to pronounce it. I hope I did it the correct way. And I planted in the beginning of the year, actually on the 2nd of May, 3 types. The normal white cabbage, the red cabbage, and a different type which is the Savoy cabbage. And I want to show you the individual ones. Now today it's 11 weeks after I've planted them or transplanted them, and they're basically ready to harvest. I harvested already my first white cabbage last week, and it was literally 2 kilos and 700 grams, so it was quite big. Some other ones are a bit smaller, and I did have some problems with some pests like caterpillars, and I will talk about that a bit later. So here you can see the cabbage does get quite big, and in the middle it will form this head. Okay, so I can show you where I harvested last week the first cabbage. So last week I harvested this big cabbage, the head, and what I do is I cut it not at the ground, but I leave some of the part at the bottom, some of the big leaves, and you can see already, in theory, I was told that little heads will reappear and form itself. It will never be as big again as before, but you will see new heads extra. This is 1 week ago, and you can see it actually seems to start growing back. I will keep you updated on this, how it actually goes, and if I am able to have a second harvest out of this. Next to it you can see the red cabbage that I harvested, and even here it seems to do exactly the same thing. Red cabbage, I think it's absolutely fantastic. It tastes really well, and if you're interested, just write a comment below, and I can actually maybe put your recipe on a good German, we call it Blaukraut, and it's actually really tasty and nice. Okay, now I want to show you the Savoy cabbage, which we're going to harvest right now. So this is my Savoy cabbage. As you can see, it looks quite different than from the normal white cabbage. Its leaves are a lot more, not as straight as the other one. They are, you can see the veins, they look quite different. And I have planted the cabbage in between the tomatoes for a specific reason. I was told that obviously the cabbage has pests and the caterpillars trying to eat the cabbage, which, as you can see, actually by those by the little butterflies that come and lay the eggs, which then transform themselves into caterpillars and eat the cabbage. They, in theory, don't like tomatoes and therefore keep them away. So that's why I planted all my cabbages in between the tomatoes. One thing I didn't take into account is how big cabbage actually grows, and I don't know if you can see here, this cabbage is enormous. It's not so much the ball in the middle, this head, but actually the leaves around take up a lot of space. And today, after 11 weeks, I'm going to harvest it also to give my tomatoes a bit better of a space. So let's go and go ahead. Okay, so let's go and cut it. As mentioned before, I won't cut it at the very bottom. I will cut it a bit higher up, in the sense to leave some of the main leaves and hopefully get maybe a little second harvest out of it. So we got here below. Take the knife. Okay. And here we go. Lots of our friends already down here. Some slugs, some little caterpillars, and some little squash beetles. Okay, and you can see here, it started actually already forming new little heads down there, which I'm going to leave. What I'm going to do though as well is to take some of the big leaves at the bottom away to give some more space to my tomatoes next to it. So I want to take this away. They have grown so big. I did really not expect that to happen, so next year I need to make sure that I leave more space for the cabbage, or put more cabbage maybe closer to each other so they can, you know, push its leaves against each other and do not avoid other plants to grow. Okay, so I hope you liked this video, and what I started already now is seeding the new parts for the cabbage family for cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, and other cabbage and even black cabbage, the black Tuscan cabbage, for my winter harvest. So I've transplanted already, I think it was the white cabbage and the broccoli. Also now it's the perfect time in July and July in the summer period to transplant the other cabbages for having a winter harvest. So other cabbages, cauliflower, broccoli, you can plant now and then have another harvest in the winter. So I will keep you up to date on my other plants, how they will be doing later on, and hope you enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe, and see you next time.